Angry crowds growing as we work to figure out why El Cajon police were forced to shoot a black man.
Yesterday's fatal police shooting of an unarmed black man.
Again tonight in El Cajon to protest the police killing of an unarmed black man.
Another deadly police shooting of a black man.
Once again, the media is emphasizing the race of a person that was shot by police as if that's relevant, giving the inference that that's the cause of why they were shot.
African-American community feels like that they're under siege essentially from unarmed shootings. Now we don't know exactly what took place in this. According to witnesses, they say that the man did not have a shirt on. He was wearing basketball shorts.
I did speak with one witness out here who told me his version of what happened. He said that he saw an African-American man about 30 years old who was not wearing a shirt backing up in the parking lot with his hands up, nothing in his hands.
So much for eyewitnesses. The guy obviously is wearing a shirt, and he's not wearing basketball shorts. And his hands were not up, and there was something in his hands. In fact, he was holding it out with both hands in a shooting stance. Thank goodness there was a cell phone video, because these witnesses are spreading false information. That's just like the famous Michael Brown case. You can click here to watch this video. There is zero evidence that Alfred Olango was shot because he's black, yet the media insist on reporting that police shoot black man. Listen to what the police chief said about the shooting.
The male refused multiple instructions by the first officer on the scene and concealed his hand in his pants pocket. Because this male did not comply with the officer, a second officer arrived on scene. The subject continued to refuse commands. The second responding officer immediately prepared to deploy less lethal electronic control device, which is a taser device, while the first officer covered him. The male subject paced back and forth while the officers tried to talk to him. At one point, the male rapidly drew an object from his front pants pocket, placed both hands together on it, and extended it rapidly towards the officer, taking what appeared to be a shooting stance, putting the object in the officer's face. At this time, one of the officers with the taser discharged his taser in an effort to subdue the subject. Simultaneously, the officer who had the object pointed at him discharged his firearm, striking the male.
Yet, once again, Black Lives Matter and the protesters are insisting that this guy was shot because he's black.
People out here, they are angry. They feel that there's a racial component to it. Here's what one of the people had to say.
You think the police is going to stop an ass? No, they're going to kill him because they think he's a black man.
They're acting like police executed a black man because he's black. Listen to this over-the-top statement.
These police officer shootings are modern-day lynchings, but instead of blacks hanging in the middle of the town square or on trees alongside the main road, we're witnessing killings repeatedly on social media and TV.
They're pushing a fantasy narrative as if cops are perpetrating racist murders.
When somebody pulls something out very, very quickly, you have a very quick notice of, what are they doing, and is this going to threaten my life? So I think this really is going to support what the officers are saying. On the other hand, the community, again, there's obviously still challenges and opportunities across the country with building relationships with the community, but the community has to realize when behaviors like this occur in the presence of police officers, they have to realize how completely inappropriate that is.
Unfortunately and incredibly, it looks like for some Black Lives Matter protesters, no amount of evidence will convince them that this was a justified shooting. First they wanted evidence, then the photo was released, and then an activist declared it was cowardly to release the photo, having tantrums because it's incriminating evidence against Alfred Olango. Then the video was released, yet an organizer insisted it would make people angrier. That actually is contradicted by a recent poll that shows that when exposed to the evidence, a majority now think that the shooting was justified. But Black Lives Matter still are protesting. Regardless of what the photograph shows, regardless of what the video shows, they want to continue with their protests. They don't want to understand that this guy put the officer in an impossible situation. And regarding those claims of mental illness, his mother says that he was not mentally ill, that he was just distraught over the loss of a close friend. It looks like he attempted suicide by cop, that he was intentionally trying to trick the cop into thinking that he was pulling a gun out to shoot the officer so that he would get shot. Check out this other video because many in the Black Lives Matter movement are apparently relying on television for their information.
we live in a quick story media, social network situation. You know, I'm hearing things today I haven't heard at all. That even the black witnesses said this guy came 20 feet at the officer.
Look at what's happening with my attempts at journalism. How free are we in the United States if when you start reporting seriously about topics in this country, such as I have if you check out my channel, you get financially sabotaged? I've made previous videos talking about this. Please sign the petition and share it with others. And I need to buy new equipment and better equipment to continue to make videos and to make them faster. So if you have any spare money, you can donate through PayPal. There's a link in the video description. And the reason I'm saying this, as I've been explaining, is YouTube is financially crippling my channel. My previous video, it might look good that it got over 8,000 views. Most of those views were not monetized. My channel is being treated differently. How many other channels that, regardless of the topic, a video gets instantly demonetized and stays demonetized for several days when you request a review? We can take an educated guess what it is I'm discussing that gets me targeted like this. I think it relates to what I was talking about in my very first video I uploaded to YouTube.